Considering I have to look multiple people in this one, I will just try to use a bird's eye view like this, just so I can spot different things and what's happening around the game in case there is something very weird. Now, first things first here, since we are playing Strange on attack on this map, we want to try and use a portal at the start of the game. So you can go up here, start up your portal, and then you use the portal right into this opening where it will block this entrance basically and give you free access to the point so you can very easily get the point right away. It doesn't work all the time, however, it's a very strong start and it can lead you to getting the point within the first few seconds. Even if it fails, because you have 4 minutes to capture the point, by the time this timer runs out, you will have the portal cooldown coming back, which means you can use 2 portals during this attack phase, in case you want to use it in the last second on overtime or something. So it is worth a shot to just basically use the portal at the start and try to get the point right away. Okay, now in terms of going around, I don't really know why my Strange is over here instead of being, here like a tank should, because you want to try and walk up to this. Don't really know why the Strange is over here instead of just going main and fighting off main. Okay. Okay. Okay, we black the magic, that's fine. Still don't know why my Strange is here. Like, is this a poke Strange? Not really sure why the Strange is being here instead of playing up here. It's been kind of a long time, and why is he here, I don't know. Okay. We did try to deal with the Thor. One thing that is kind of a note here is if they have a Thor as a Squirrel Girl, it should be quite easy to just use the Acorn and stun him, because he is in your face, and if you stun him over here, you could very easily kill him. Yeah, we just should have done it a bit sooner. We are a bit slow to react, so we want to be ready for that. You want to be on the lookout for it. Okay, now my Strange is flanking around. Okay. I mean, this isn't really what a Strange should be doing. And also, you could have achieved this by just, using the portal. This isn't really Strange's job to do this, because now you are vulnerable, and you're basically letting your team by themselves. Now, of course, it does work a little bit here because it is low elo, but you still die. So what is my Strange doing? No. If you want to play like that, play Venom, play Hulk, play a dive tank. Strange is not a dive tank. That's not something you want to be doing on Strange. And because of that, you see now that because the Strange is dead, you're down a tank, a main tank, and so it's going to be more difficult to capture the point here because you are down a tank. Sometimes it can work, but definitely not something you want to be doing on purpose and in general. As for the Scarlet Witch, she is peeling the Iron Fist. That is fine. Yep, I would say that's good. Another thing to keep in mind is the bubble, like the bubble stun on Scarlet Witch is very good at peeling as well. So if you are being dove by Iron Fist, by Venom, whatever, just throw the bubble stun on top of them or on top of your healers, and then it will be so much more difficult for the diver to do anything because he's going to be constantly getting stunned. If you are not peeling on Scarlet Witch, then you should be looking then you should be looking to maybe flank around, harass their backline, because you have the two fades, which you can easily use to back away and to not die. As well as, we do not want a front line like this and just go inside the enemy team, especially when your team is being busy dealing with something else. Alright, so this is like another example where throwing a stun on top of these guys, like over here, or where they want to go, where they are, can be very, very disruptive and very strong. We also do not want to die without using our fade. If we have it, we should basically never die with this ability available, unless you get caught off by surprise and you die in a millisecond, which I don't think it was the case here. So you definitely want to play around your fade so that you stay alive and you disengage and you don't die. Okay, now the Strange is back. Okay. Squirrel Girl ultimate, not the most necessary, because, well, the enemy team is down players. Okay. Not the worst one, but definitely a bit excessive maybe, because the enemy team was already down some players, and this point is kind of as one already. So it's fine though, because you get it very quickly. However, we want to keep an eye out and not use ultimates when they are not needed. Okay, that's a nice skill over there. Okay, we just get the point here. All good. All good. Once again, on Squirrel Girl, if they have a diver or something like that, you wanna try and keep your stun, your acorn, and your ability reset for the diver so you can stun them and get them killed when they are diving. Basically, you want to look out for people out of position and stun them, or like make it easier to kill them with the stun. Okay, Scarlet Witch dealing with Iron Fist, that is fine. There you go. Yep, that is okay. Okay, now about the Strange. Let's take a look here, because that was a lot of damage. First of all, the thing is AFK here, which obviously makes things more difficult. So we have to keep that in mind. Okay, now in terms of this cloak bubble here, I think we did use a cloak bubble. Yep, we did use a cloak bubble. This is a waste. Especially on a squishy DPS like this, that is not in danger, which means you can very easily heal them like normal and keep your bubble for bigger priorities. Like, if they have dive, which they do, Captain America and Iron Fist, you want to be more selfish with your bubble so you can heal yourself when you are being dove by their divers. So if Captain America jumps on you, you bubble yourself and you're basically unkillable for the duration of the bubble. If their diver is dead or if they don't have dive, that's when you can use it for your tanks or the other people in the team. However, in this case, like I said, this guy is in not any danger anymore because there are no enemies around. He's behind cover, so you can very easily just use your regular primary healing or just a white curtain. The bubble is your strongest healing ability and you don't want to throw it out willy-nilly, okay? You want to keep it for things that are more important. Like this one, look, the Strange is taking a lot of damage. This would have been a better bubble right here. Okay, now one thing I will point out here is that the Strange should instantly fly away here. I don't know why he's waiting around. The enemy team has used Cloak Ultimate, Rocket Ultimate, and your 1 HP. You don't even bring up the shield, instantly just fly away. I don't know what we are waiting here. That would have been very dangerous. I also don't know why we are waiting with the Cloak Ultimate here, because it is available. And so the Strange is dying. The enemy team has used both of their ultimates, which means if you can match it with that is 2 ultimates for 1, which, because it's a support ultimate, it's basically equalized, and so this would have been a very good Cloak Ultimate. I don't know why we are waiting for it. Just, you see both of this, you just start using your ultimate and save the people. I don't know why we are waiting for it, because we have it available. And you see, because of that, the thing dies. We do end up using Invis after, but this is a bad Invis ultimate because it's kind of on your side, where instead it should be a bit more offensively as well, because you are on attack. But more importantly, the thing dies. And then we also run outside of the Invis ultimate. Why are we not inside the Invis ultimate? This is a death wish right here. If a support uses ultimate, you want to be playing inside of it. I don't understand why we are running away from it. This makes no sense. This makes no sense. So we don't use the Cloak Ultimate, and then we also run outside of the Invis Ultimate. What are we doing? Like, what is this? We run outside of Invis Ultimate, and then we bubble ourselves at full HP when we are behind cover and nobody is on top of us. Yeah, this makes completely zero sense. You want to use an ultimate, a support ultimate, when there is an DPS ultimate happening. So let's say they are using Iron Fist ultimate. That's when you can use a support ultimate. They use their support ultimates, which happened here. That's another moment where you want to use a support ultimate. Not always, but most of the time. Especially if they use both of them. And so we don't use ultimate, we run outside of Invis ultimate, and then we also waste bubble when nobody's on top of us. Yeah, this is we don't want to do this. Okay? So, multiple things here. Use ultimate, because that was the moment, because they used 2 support ultimates, and your team was dying. The Strange and the Thing, they were both dying. The Thing actually died. Then, we don't use ultimate, fine, whatever. But we use Invis ultimate, which gives us healing, so we want to play inside of it. Instead, we run outside of it, and we don't do anything. Yeah, this doesn't really make too much sense. Now, this ultimate here, somehow it works. However, a good moment to use Scarlet Witch ultimate is during the support ultimates, because when you are using Scarlet Witch ultimate inside the support, what does this mean? Supports, or like enemies, will want to play inside the support ultimate so that they get healing, meaning their positioning is very predictable. And if you have your own support ultimate, it means you are also kind of unkillable. So you are very close to the enemies, because usually support ultimates are on top of each other, and then it's also difficult for the enemies to kill you because you get healing from the support ultimate. And so you can hit some very fat ultimates against supports and against the enemy team with your Scarlet Witch, especially against Cloak and Dagger, because in her ultimate, her dashes are very predictable, and so you can follow her around with your Scarlet Witch ultimate, and because she can't fade away because she is in the ultimate animation and she can't dodge it, you can just follow her around and blow her up and kill her in her ultimate. It's also the same for Rocket Ultimate because you can basically instantly destroy it. So multiple things happening wrong here. Okay, this ultimate here, very, very risky. In a real game, in a real rank, this wouldn't have worked because the Baki can just hook you. The Groot can just wall you off and run away. Or you can just straight up die if the Baki just shoots you and doesn't miss his shots because, well, you're right in front of him. And so this was very risky and should never have worked. Do not do this. Or you can do this because this is low elo. However, more often than not, it might not work. And then the Strange Ultimate as well, absolutely horrendous. Who are we ulting? There is nobody here. It's only one Groot. So we aren't even looking and we're just pressing the Q button for no reason. Like, who is here? There's nobody here. We want to use the Strange Ultimate when the enemies are in a predictable position where we can see them, where we know where they are, and we know who we want to hit with our ultimate. We don't want to just throw it out there and be like, yeah, I hope it hits something. No, you need to be thinking, okay, I want to hit their supports, I want to hit this person, and so you want to be looking ahead for that. You could fly over here and then drop behind them and hit an ultimate, for example, because you want to ult these people. You have a target in mind. You're not just pressing the button for no reason and hoping it hits something. That's not how ultimates work. You need to be thinking about how you want to use them. So far in this fight, we have kind of wasted Invis ultimate. We didn't use Cloak ultimate. We kind of messed around with Scarlet Witch, and we didn't do anything with the Strange ultimate. So what are we doing with our ultimates here? And now this Cloak ultimate, what is this? Let's see here. We basically use Cloak ultimate for the fun because why are we doing this? You didn't react to the Groot ultimate because you did it basically at the same time or even before him. Now, if you did it for the Groot ultimate, that would be good. However, you did it before knowing that, and so why are we using this? Our team is full HP, more or less. We aren't in any real danger. Why are we using the Cloak ultimate now instead of the earlier moment, which was so much better? Now, of course, because they end up using Groot and Captain America, it isn't the worst. However, this is more luck than anything, and we don't want to rely on luck. We want to be thinking about how we want to use the stuff. As well as, once again, we do not want to go outside of our own ultimate. You are not inside your ultimate here. This has happened 2 times in the span of like 30 seconds in the game, and what this means is that it is a bad habit and a pattern of you just running outside of support ultimates and probably dying. So when we have a support ultimate down, we want to play inside of it so that we actually get the healing from it. That's its point, to give healing, and so we want to take that healing. Okay, of course, if we are playing something like Cloak and Dagger and Rocket, we want to be sitting on the cart, because if nobody sits on the cart, you are basically missing out on half the speed and half the progress. And with Cloak as well as Rocket, you can very easily bounce your heals around and heal your team from a distance while babysitting the cart. We want to sit on the cart and push the cart because that is the objective. See, look how slowly it moves because nobody is on it. We want at least one person, especially because this can happen. You can have someone like Captain America, Iron Fist, just capture it, and now we lose all the progress. Look at this. We lose so much progress because nobody is sitting on the card. The point of the game is not to kill the enemies. The point of the game is to push this objective. Killing the enemies is an end to the means. Killing the enemies is a means to an end. The end being the objective, and killing the enemies is the means. So it doesn't matter how many kills you get here, because the objective isn't moving, and you are technically now you are losing the game because the objective is not being pushed. So it doesn't matter that the enemies are dead, you're losing. This is not team deathmatch. So this is why you need people on the card. The only people who should be pushing far up should be the tanks and maybe DPS, and especially not this far up. You want to push up until slightly further ahead than the card, so you can start holding a position, so like around here, so you can stop the enemies from simply walking back towards the cart. You definitely do not want to be pushing all the way into their spawn room. Okay? So this is the point of the game, not that. Like, whatever happens here is irrelevant because we are not pushing the objective. So this is what matters. Especially because when you push this far up and this aggressively, you separate your team very hard, and you're going to cut off healing, you're going to cut off help, and you're basically isolating yourself and getting yourself killed sometimes. So you want to play like a team, not everyone everywhere for themselves. Just get the objective, take some space so the enemies can't just easily walk back, and play around this. Or like the next corner, the next position. We do not want to be chasing targets all the way into their spawn room. Especially on this position where the cart is very far back. Like, this is so much better. There you go. This is what we should be doing. Just play around a corner, a defensive position, and stop the enemies from walking up for free. So we are once again kind of chasing targets. Okay, that's a good Scarlet Witch ultimate. We didn't get the cloak, but that was fine. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Oh, maybe Squirrel Girl a bit far away because it's easy. It's more difficult to hit shots, but it's not the biggest issue. Okay, so far so good. Okay, get that nice stagger. Yep, that is fine. Now we push up the cart. Okay. Yeah, but like I said, you want to have people on the cart. Okay, now we have ultimates. This is definitely kind of a bit too far up. I don't know why we are here. We don't need to be here to send our ultimate. Okay, especially not when the enemies are so far away and your team is so far back. You want to use Squirrel Girl ultimate when the enemies are together, when they want to push up, and you have your team to assist you in some way. We are not playing Dive Squirrel Girl. This is Dive Squirrel Girl. This doesn't work. Squirrel Girl is not a dive character, so we can't be doing this. Instead, we could have played from the right side here, just throw out some shots on the enemy's side, do damage, you know, play this and kill this guy, and once our team is moving up, then you can send out an ultimate. Because as you can see, you get no kills, hopefully, and you also die. So we waste ultimate and we also die. As well as, what is my Scarlet Witch doing here? Scarlet Witch is not a tank melter DPS, especially when you don't use team up. Only with the team up with the Strange you can shoot tanks, but Scarlet Witch is a flanker and anti-dive. So if the enemy isn't diving, which they aren't, you should be, like I said, looking around to flank, attack those squishies, and then escape with your fade. We do not want a front line on Scarlet Witch like that. As you can see here, there is a rocket just completely uncontested and free healing. And the cart is also uncontested and nobody is sitting on the cart. And we are just all tunnel visioning forward like a horse instead of just, looking around and seeing what's going on. No, we are just tunnel visioned. You want to kill, 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 kill. No, that is not the game. The game is not kill, kill, kill. I know getting kills is fun and all, but that is not the point of the game. This is not team deathmatch, like I said. So we want to play the card, and as we play the card, oh look, there is a rocket here. Let's kill the rocket, because why is the rocket here? This is a very easy target for Scarlet Witch. So I don't know what we are doing here. And then of course, I don't know why the Strange anti-heals himself. We are 100 energy. Just use the burst so you don't anti-heal yourself. You don't need to hit a fat burst every single time. It's nice, it would be nice if you could, but the game doesn't work like that. So if it happens that we are at full energy, we want to use it so that we don't anti-heal ourselves. As you can see here, the reason you die is because you anti-heal yourself and you cannot be healed. And so you die because we don't press the button. Okay, we don't want that to happen. We should ideally never anti-heal yourself unless you are building up for a fat ultimate or something, but even then it's very risky, so do not do that. It is better to waste the damage from the burst by using it on nobody than it is to lose your HP and die because you anti-heal yourself. However, as I said once again, we don't play the point, the rocket is uncontested, and would you look at that, he ends up building up to his ultimate, and now you are in a big trouble, more or less. Because we all just look for kills, and we just team deathmatch, and would you look at that, we are losing. Wow. So, as you can see, this is how we lose the fight. Because we tunnel vision on getting kills, when that's not the game. That is not the game. Now, unfortunately, our invis disconnects, so this is not as nice anymore. However, I also don't understand why we are here when our team was dead and we are choosing to go forward, because our team is dead, you have no healing, one of your healers is AFK, and instead of just simply waiting around for the team to regroup and you go together as a team, we decide to push forward, and I don't know, let's see what happens. You're looking for a Strange ultimate. However, like I said, the Strange ultimate has to be pre-planned. You have to know where the enemies are gonna be, and how you're gonna get on top of them so you can stun them. As you can see here, you did not think ahead, and so you are kind of stuck in a weird position. By yourself, by the way, without your team. Okay, we use Cloak Ultimate, that is fine. We use Strange Ultimate for no reason on nobody once again. So far, 2 out of 2 Strange Ultimates have been completely useless because we don't think ahead. We want to think where the enemies are and get on top of the enemies and try to catch them by surprise. We are ulting air. Air is not dangerous. We ulted the Angela, however, this was not needed. And the fact that we hit the Angela is just pure luck. And we don't want to do that. Okay, now for some reason, instead of walking forward through the Cloak Ultimate and use it so that we don't die, we actually run outside of it so that we don't get healing and we don't use it. So if there is a support ultimate, we want to play inside of it, on top of it, so that we actually get the healing. Now, of course, with Scarlet Witch Ultimate, like I said, we want to be using it to counter something, or to use it when enemies aren't looking around. Solo ulting an Adam who has self-res is not a good trade because you basically used an ultimate for a passive of his, which is just not worth it. Now we get the Phoenix, that is nice, yep, that is all good. But as you can see, once again, everyone is just chasing kills everywhere, right? This guy's just randomly chasing kills, you're randomly chasing kills, when instead you should be playing around the objective and kill the people who want to contest the objective. These guys do not want to contest the objective unless you are playing dive. Okay, if you want to play around the objective, not everyone everywhere, and you kill the enemies that are around the objective. That is the point of the game, the objective, not the kills. We are chasing kills constantly. You see, like, you're not playing around the point. You're just all over the place, everywhere. Just looking to get kills, kills, kills. And would you look at that, because we play randomly like that, we end up dying as well. Where is our cloak? Okay, cloak is here. That is fine. Okay, Squirrel Girl ultimate here. Not the worst. But as you can see, we lose once again because we just play for random kills. We're also down a support, which is unfortunate. However, I think we could have won this even without a support if we just played for the objective like normal people. Okay, now the support is back. Let's see what we are doing. Okay, once again, if we are half HP and less than half HP on tank, we do not go forward. You go forward when you are full HP because you have the health pool and you can stay alive, as well as your team not being here. The Squirrel Girl is nowhere to be seen. One support is still just coming back. The other tank isn't here. Why are we pushing once again without our team? So you see, because of that, everything is very disorganized, all over the place. There's like no cohesion, no coordination. Okay, we want to play as a team, move as a team, wait for the others, and just try to punish enemy mistakes when they happen. As well as, like I said, on Scarlet Witch, we do not want to just be shooting tanks because that is waste damage. Scarlet Witch does not have enough damage to threaten and kill tanks, but she does have more than enough damage and escape potential to kill squishies and backline. So you want to throw a big stun orb on top of all of them and just be as annoying as you can, and then just escape with your phase. As well as, like I said, if we are half HP, we don't want to go forward. We just park our ass behind the wall, wait to be full HP, and then we can start being aggressive again. Because, as you can see, because of that, you are on the back foot, on the back pedal, constantly and non-stop, and you can't take any space because you are essentially a squishy. So, get healed up and then be aggressive. Okay, ultimate here. I think it's fine because we are playing attack and we can use it to push up, so that is all nice and good. Okay, so far so good. Where is the rest of us? Okay. Where is the Scarlet Witch? Okay, we died because we don't play, like I said, we play too aggressive, probably. Right, but as you can see, once again, we are chasing kills and going all the way in their spawn room. And that's not the point of the game. Okay. Okay, that is a better Strange Ultimate. There you go. Finally, we hit a big Strange Ultimate. Why? Well, because we actually can see what we want to use an ultimate on, instead of just blindly pressing it. This is so much better. There you go. Very nice. There we go. Okay, that was so far so good. Let's see what happens on defense. Now, of course, why are we playing here? This is their spawn room. We don't want to be playing here. As well as you're playing very layered. Like, look at this. You got one guy here, a few other guys here, a few other guys here, where you're not playing together. Like, this is not a team. This is just a bunch of random people playing single player. No. You want to play around some cover, first and foremost. Because as you can see here, because of this weird walls, you are basically cutting the line of sight from your supports and making healing more difficult. Instead, you want to play around this, because this is very hard to push into, and just play around the walls here and around this cover, you know, peek in and out, maybe push out a little bit and then just back away with low HP, because this is much more difficult to push through than this, which is just open space. It's very awkward to do anything, especially because from this perspective, you can't even see most of the enemies. So, once again, where is the point? The point is here. This is the objective. The objective is here. The objective is not here. I don't see any objective here, so why are we playing all the way out here? As well as we are playing aggressive when half HP, and we are playing aggressive when someone is behind us. There is an enemy behind you. You don't want to be like this. You want to go behind him, right? And start shooting him and stuff. We don't want to be fighting here. Okay, what are we doing here? And so we die, and the other guy dies. Like, you shouldn't kill these guys. There's a bigger, more dangerous target to take care of first, which is this guy. So once this guy is dead, then you can look around for something else. As well as if we are playing Squirrel Girl, we want to try and stun this guy because stunning the thing is very, very easy because he's such a massive target. And so you can just stun him and get him killed. Same for Scarlet Witch, you can just throw Bubble down and it will be very annoying for him to do anything. Okay, somehow we missed the stun, it's okay. But now we definitely want to back away because we are down the Strange. And so we don't want to fight without him too much. Now, of course, like I said on Scarlet Witch, we don't want to just be playing with our team if they don't have dive. You want to play around and be annoying on their squishes and use your phase, which is very good mobility, to get around the map and harass their squishes. You are not a tank killer. Okay, once again, Squirrel Girl goes a bit too aggressive. Okay, I know you want to use ultimate, but you don't need to dive for it. Die and dive. You don't want to be doing this. Okay, especially because there's no need for this. The enemies are so far away. You can just wait for them to walk a bit closer and send it out. As well as if you send it out in a straight line like this towards them, as you can see, it's fairly easy to shoot it and break it. So you want to try and drop it on top of them from above so that it's more difficult to hit. Or you want to send it through a wall so that it starts bouncing and going through the enemies and it's difficult to hit. If you send it in a straight line like this, it's easy to break. As well as we don't want to dive. Okay, now on Strange, we don't want to just hold our shield up and walk for no reason. We want to use like jump, shield, you know, bring it up here and there. Don't just hold it up and walk slowly forward, because that does nothing. Especially when you are full HP. Now, once again, we are chasing kills. We are all of us chasing kills into the enemy spawn. Why? I don't know. We're just playing team deathmatch. If you want to just get kills, go play 18 versus 18. This is not the point of the game here. Because as you can see, we are pushed so far up that the enemy team does what I said, which is just portal straight onto the point. And now, what are you doing? Oh no, the enemy is taking the point. What are we doing? This is why we want to play around the point and the objective, not in the enemy spawn room. Okay, very nice Scarlet Witch. However, like I said, we want to try and get the cloak because that is the #1 priority. As well as, once again, we are chasing kills and we are now in a dangerous position. What are we doing here? Why is my Strange here when we are having support ultimates on the point? I don't understand. You're probably going to die. Somehow you don't die by some unknown miracle, but that should never have worked out. So, once again, we get lucky. Okay. Okay. This somehow works out. Once again, we are playing very aggressive. Okay, we want to play around the cover. We want to play around cover. We don't want to just W. We don't want to just go forward into the enemies and die like this. Like, what are we doing? Okay, this is a better Squirrel Girl ultimate. This is nice. Because the enemies want to push, So they're going to be around here. They're going to be taken by surprise, and it will do massive damage and stop them from pushing for free. That was a better Skullgirl ultimate. Nice. Now, of course, I don't understand why we are going forward, because our Strange is dead again. We have the point. There's no reason to push further because we are playing defense. We have to just hold the point, and that's it. We don't need to kill the enemies on defense. As long as we have the point, we are winning. The enemies can stay alive and have 0 deaths. It doesn't matter, because if they don't take the point, they are going to lose. We don't need to kill them. That is not the objective of the game. Okay. Once again, cosmetic Scarlet Witch ultimate. What are we ulting here? The enemies are dead. The enemies are not even here. The enemies are nowhere to be seen. We are just pressing the button for the fun of it. What is this ultimate? Let's assume it was a misclick. Okay, so far it's okay. But like I said, Scarlet Witch, you want to play from these weird angles, flanky angles, high ground, off angles, and just throw down a stun bubble over here and just harass them. Be annoying. Stop shooting tanks the entire game. That's not what you should be doing on Scarlet Witch. Like this stun bubble, once again, kind of awkward. Why not just look at this? Massive stun bubble here. Very annoying. You can then throw out a bunch of your big projectiles and do a lot of damage. And if they start shooting you, you just phase away towards your team and get healing. Stop just spamming the tank. That's not the point. Then, of course, we waste portal for no reason. I don't know what this is gonna be. Maybe we misclick the button. I don't know. Okay, we just do a funny haha ultimate. I mean, I guess it works out, but totally unnecessary. I guess it is a nice clip. So we are just clip farming in the middle of the game. And then we also don't even use it properly, because you want to shoot, melee, shoot, and then use the burst. You don't want to shoot for 5 million years. So shoot, melee, shoot, and then explode. You see? Because by the time you explode, the ultimate is over and you miss out on the damage. So that is not how we want to do. Maybe we should watch a short on how to do the combo properly. Okay? Now the Cloak ultimate, I think that was fine. The Squirrel Girl ultimate, I think that was also fine, considering we hit the big Strange ultimate. Maybe a bit unnecessary, but not the worst one. Okay, so far it's looking okay for this fight. There we go. Unless we get a big born again. I think it should be fine though, because the enemies are kind of far away. So we should just kill them. Once again, we anti-heal ourselves. This shouldn't happen, like I said. We waste Cloak Bubble because we don't need it anymore. Look at this. Our team is more or less full HP. We can just heal them like normal. We don't need to use the bubble here. What is this? This is a waste. It's not needed. Okay, now this is another reason why you don't want to play from main with Scarlet Witch, because you're very easy to kill, and that's why you want to play from around and be annoying and just use your mobility to be annoying and get away. Kind of like a Psylocke. A Psylocke shouldn't just stay here and shoot nothing. You want to go around and be annoying on Psylocke. Flank. Shoot supports, backline. Okay, as well as Why are we pushing into a Punisher ultimate? Probably because we thought we could kill him. That's like one thing, maybe. Okay, that is one maybe idea. We could kill him here. Yeah, that is definitely a potential. However, since you went to try and kill him, you should have committed to it. You see, because you pussy out, you end up dying. If you just kept going forward into his face, shooting him and killing him, he would actually probably have died. Instead, we chicken out, we stop doing damage, and we just die. So, no. We want to, like I said, think about what we want to do and commit to it. We don't want to second guess too much. And I think that is how we lose. And of course, because we did a haha funny portal, now we don't have the portal to recapture the point. And we lose it, probably. So this is why, of course, you can do haha funny portals, but you have to accept that you will probably waste your portal that way. Okay. And we lose the point. I see. We definitely could have hold this if we didn't do the haha funny portal and we didn't just go for the kills. Same thing here. They just captured the point. Our thing just died. Why are we here? 1v6ing the entire enemy team after they just captured their point and their spawn room is right here. Instead, we should back away, wait for our team to regroup and start holding like a corner or a position so we can actually hold the point. Why is my Strange once again going aggressive by himself? This Squirrel Gold ultimate, like I said from previously, you don't want to just send it down the middle in a straight line because it's quite easy to kill or dodge, especially when your team isn't here, especially when you're not even fighting on the objective, especially when the enemy team isn't really clumped up together too much, all by yourself. Kind of a wasted ultimate here. This will do probably nothing. Okay, so we don't want to just send it out for no reason. Once again, we want to think about dropping it on top of the enemies, not sending it and making it run like 5 miles to reach the enemies. You want to be right on top of them. Okay, this is better Scarlet Witch Ultimate. Look, you have so many enemies looking at you. We kind of use our phase a bit weirdly. Like, you could have gotten the health back through it and then just run away. Right, and we were kind of too aggressive there. But, you know, that is better. Now, this Cloak Ultimate here, probably not the worst. If you know that the enemy team doesn't have ultimates, that is fine. However, you probably don't know that, and so on defense, you don't want to send your ultimate for no reason. Because once again, the point of defense isn't to go into the enemies and kill them. The point of defense is to stay alive and stop the objective from being captured. That's why on defense, you want to be a bit more reactionary with your support ultimates and use it when the enemy uses a support ultimate offensively, or they use a DPS ultimate offensively, like Punisher, like Squirrel Girl maybe, something like that. We don't want to just press it because we have it. Okay, and then of course, we don't want to run outside of it. Okay, that is fine. Okay, so we stun the enemies and we don't even use the burst. And we also use it inside the Cloak Ultimate. So, no. Like I said, we want to be thinking ahead about our Strange Ultimate. Okay? And look, this right here is a reason why you don't want to just send your support ultimate on defense for no reason, because now the enemy on attack can use an offensive support ultimate and you kind of have nothing, and it's very difficult to survive on defense. So on attack, you want to be aggressive and offensive. On defense, you want to be chill and defensive and reactionary. As well as you can kill people through support ultimates with strange ultimate. However, it's not as easy as you think, and so you can just try to keep it for after. As well as you don't want to dive like this and make it very obvious. Okay, you want to think ahead. And of course, if you actually hit people, you actually want to kill them. So these guys are inside support ultimate, so they won't die. However, this Adam is not in the cloak ultimate, so you could very easily have just killed this Adam and then just, I don't know, skedaddle away and just take the one kill you get here. Instead, you get nothing of that, and you probably also die. Yeah, there you go. So what are we doing? Nothing. Okay, now we all fall over because we wasted Cloak Ultimate, we wasted Strange Ultimate, Strange died as well. Now, did we have Scarlet Witch Ultimate for this Cloak? Let's take a look. We did. And so, like I said, Scarlet Witch is a actually very good counter to Cloak Ultimate because her movement is very predictable. And you can just follow her around and blow her up before her ultimate ends, and you delete her and her ultimate alongside it. So the moment you hear this, you should just press your Scarlet Witch ultimate, follow the cloak around, and get her killed. Instead, we don't do that. And we probably press a random ultimate after our team is basically dead, because the tanks are dead, this guy is dead, and we are just ulting. This is a zoning ultimate. Yeah, you broke a bridge. Well done. What is this? No. Like I said, we want to be thinking ahead of where and on what we want to use our ultimates. We want to, okay, they have Cloak, I will use my ultimate for this. They have Punisher, I will use my ultimate for this on a Cloak or on Invis. Okay, you don't want to just, oh, I have my ultimate, I'm gonna press it. No, you want to be thinking ahead. When would be a good moment? When the enemies are together, when they're on the point, when they're fighting, when they're using a ultimate or all this or that or that, okay? You want to be thinking what you want to do with it instead of just randomly pressing it because you have it. Same for this Invis ultimate, you know, they have Punisher ultimate, so it's okay. They have Punisher ultimate, okay? So you respond with an Invis. This is fine. Okay, now of course, when we are playing tank and we are full HP, we want to go in and be aggressive. We want to go forward into the enemies, especially if their tank is dead. You don't want to play like a little bitch. You are a full HP tank, you want to go forward and be aggressive and push the enemies. Not all the way into their spawn, but definitely not just sitting in the back. You want to kill the enemies that are entering your space, like this Thor, okay? This Thor is where he shouldn't be, so instead of killing these guys or worrying about these guys, kill the Thor first, because he's the biggest threat right now, the biggest danger, so we kill him first, and then we look for something else to do, maybe. But this is the priority. And that's why we need to be looking back for this stuff. Okay, not just go forward without reasoning and just tunnel vision. Okay, so because of that, your support is dead, you are dead, and once again, you see how split apart we are playing? Enemy team is playing somewhat like a team, they're closer together. We are just playing like two mini teams. You don't want to be playing like two mini teams. You want to be playing as one cohesive team together. Okay, horrible ultimate there. The point is basically over. We're not portaling. There is nobody here. Just give up the point and keep your ultimate for the next one. As you can see, we waste ultimate and we also lose the point. So we have achieved nothing. Okay, half of basically our entire team is dead. They're just capturing the point. Just give it up and win the next part. So now we don't have cloak ultimate and we can very easily lose. Now, of course, we portal half a year later because once again, we don't think about what we are doing and we end up wasting portal. And we're also probably going to stagger and die. Yeah, what is this? Now, of course, why are we here? Our tank is dead. Half of our team is dead. There is nobody to frontline for us. Why are we, as a squirrel girl, just sitting here in the open, eating damage and dying? You wanna, like I said, park yourself behind some cover, wait for your team to come together, and then you walk out as a team. You don't go one by one because we don't want to kill the enemies. That's not the point of the game.
Only 60 seconds left. That's it. Don't let anything stand in
Okay, see, kind of like the thing here. Wait around for the rest of the team and then walk out. Okay, now they use Scarlet, they use Cloak Ultimate, so GG well played. And we still don't use Scarlet Witch Ultimate to counter it, which would be... Okay, we didn't have it this time, so understandable. We didn't have it this time, but yeah. And we just die and the game is over. So... Yep, that's about the game, I guess. There is plenty for you to do. Okay, first of all, stop playing so separate. Stop playing all over the place. Stop playing for the kills. The kills are not the point of the game. They are not the objective. Okay, so play more like a team. And then think about what you want to be doing. Think about why you are using your ultimate. Think about when you want to use it and how you want to use it. The same for buttons. And just take what I said in this review and try to think of ways of how you can fix it and how you can practice it. And try to stop doing the mistakes that I said and just focus on those. That being said, I hope this helps and good luck.